Okay, World Cup qualifying. England-Serbia has just finished at Wembley 2-0 to England in difficult conditions, very heavy rain. It was 1-0 at half time. This Serbia performance was a lot better than the performance we saw in Belgrade when England ran riot and put a hatful of goals past them. Much changed Serbian lineup from the lineup that played in the last international break against England with a new manager. They've changed the manager, so different formation, different style of play from Serbia. They look much better organised. They had their own opportunities, especially in the second half, but they look much more structured and organised and just better defensively. They stuck to their tasks well, and the two goals were fantastic goals. I mean, they're very hard to defend them, but overall, I think Serbia, played a lot better. They needed to get a result tonight to try and keep their qualification hopes alive and hope that Albania would slip up against Andorra. Neither of those things came to pass because Albania beat Andorra, and of course England win 2-0 on the night, which means Serbia can now not qualify regardless of what they do against Latvia in their next game. On the England side of things, the performance wasn't as good as in the last international break, but is still a much improved England over the Gareth Southgate era in regards of the attacking intent, the intensity, and just the more positive forward thinking. There's less of this aimless passing at the back. Most of the passing is more forward with intent, and if a pass isn't on, they still distribute the ball a lot quicker than what they were under Gareth Southgate. Thomas Tuchel is more of a pragmatic manager, and is also challenging the players to think a little bit more on their feet and problem solve, which is something we don't see as often as we used to, where the players are given a bit more freedom and a bit more license to express themselves, which is having positive impacts for England. Now, yes, the performance wasn't as good. There were some sloppy errors in the game, especially in the second half. There were some sloppy errors, some misplaced passes, and maybe a little bit of lack of intensity, a little bit because qualification has already been assured. They are on this lengthy win streak at the moment, and they still haven't conceded in qualifying, and they're trying to equal their record of consecutive wins, which goes back to 1894. So they are, setting records, and they are obviously building the confidence, and it's good to see. Now, the two goals are very, very interesting. Saka's goal comes from a goalkeeping error. Now, initially it's a free kick. Declan Rice takes the free kick. I think he slightly overhits it, and there's not enough pressure on the goalkeeper. Rakovic should catch that, but he decides to punch it, and that's generally option number two. He obviously has made the decision to punch from as soon as the free kick is taken, but his punch is weak and straight at an England player, which is O'Reilly. And O'Reilly, he takes a snapshot. It's not the best shot in the world, but he's willing to shoot. He's young, he's confident. He's obviously now a first-team regular with Man City. Not the best shot, but it deflects off a Serbian defender. And Saka has to think very, very quickly, and that is a brilliant, brilliant volley back across the goalkeeper into the right-hand corner of the net. Fantastic finish. Fantastic finish by Saka. Very quick thinking, considering that the deflection comes to him, but he stays in a threatening position. He's in space, he's unmarked, so that makes it easy. There's not enough pressure on him from the Serbian defence, and that is a brilliant finish. But that is on the goalkeeper making a really poor decision under no pressure. Under no pressure. If there was pressure on him and he decides to punch, that's different. But there's absolutely no pressure on him, and that is a poor goalkeeping error that leads to a brilliant goal by England, because they win the next ball, they win the 50-50, they win the next phase, and Saka finishes a brilliant bit of high energy, still high press if you think about it, from England, and it's a fantastic goal. Now, they don't get any more goals before half time, but I think Rashford had a very, and Anderson had, two players had brilliant games. Anderson in that midfield, was doing a lot of the, and Declan Rice as well. They both really distributed really well, and Rashford on the left wing, he's had some shots on goal. He's had some good interplay, some good runs off the ball. He's linked up well with other players. Didn't get any goals tonight, but he created opportunities. Was constantly challenging the Serbian defence, especially the Serbian right back. Constantly good battle there. Really good battle there, and forced Rakovic into some saves in the Serbian goal. Now, the Ilic injury for Serbia, that is a very serious knee injury. Now, he was helped off the field, not requiring a stretcher, but he's done either his ACL or his MCL, it looks like. Rashford obviously takes his shot, and I don't know if his studs caught in the ground or he twisted awkwardly whilst trying to obviously cut down the angle and force Rashford into a less desirable shooting position. But you can clearly see his knees twisted, he's gone down. And he was one of several players who either got their footing, the studs caught in the turf or slipped in the game because it was a very wet, heavy pitch. Rashford had a similar scary moment where he also got one of his feet stuck in the ground and jarred his knee, and was shortly thereafter replaced by Eze on the left wing. That was in the second half, and that was a bit concerning that he's gone down also clutching his knee. Now he carried on playing after that for a few more minutes, and that was in the second half. And I think that was a concern, I think, in the game for both sides. I think that's questions that need to be asked of the Wembley ground staff, because recently we've obviously had the rugby league test there. We've had the NFL there as well, and now we've obviously had a couple of international breaks as well. That was a bit concerning that several players lost their footing, and Ilic obviously went off injured with that knee injury, and Rashford also had a scare in the second half where their studs seemed to get caught in the ground a little bit. So obviously there has been a lot of rain before kick-off and during the game as well. So that's a bit of a concern, but in years past the Wembley surface used to cut up and used to be a bit more muddy, so it's a much better surface now than what it was a few years ago, but that is a concern. Now, is that something to do with the pitch, or is it just a freak incident where a player twists awkwardly in their knee? But that was unfortunate, and I think that impacted Serbia a little bit defensively, because at that point, even though they're 1-0 down at that point, they were dealing with England's attacks reasonably well. Second half, obviously the changes occur, and the England subs, before the England subs come on, England were just losing a little bit of intensity and a little bit of accuracy, and then the substitutions happen, and that injected fresh energy, and the game actually opened up a little bit. And Serbia had their opportunities because England got a little bit sloppy. Again, you could attribute the weather to that a little bit, but also the substitutions. But there was a few sloppy moments, and there were some half chances for Serbia. And then Eze's goal, that is an absolutely fantastic finish. Eze just scores screamers when he plays for England. He just scores screamers. Every time I see Eze play, he's scoring a goal from about 25 yards or further out, and it's an absolute missile. It doesn't matter if it was from Crystal Palace back in the day, or now Arsenal or England. He scores just beautiful goals. But other players are involved, like Phil Foden's involved. And Foden was playing a different sort of hybrid 9-10 role. He replaced Harry Kane up front. I don't know what Foden's best role for England is, or Man City for that matter, but you want him in that final third, in the centre of the field. He seems to be most impactful, most likely in like a 9 or a 10 role, preferably a 10. But he was when he was brought on, he was sort of floating around and didn't have a fixed position, which is interesting. He caused some problems for the Serbian defence, but obviously he doesn't have that height that Harry Kane or an Ollie Watkins has, but he's got that technical ability. But it'd be interesting to see how Phil Foden fits into Thomas Tuchel's system, and how much game time he'll get against Albania, for example. He's obviously been called into the squad, but Phil Foden's a bit of an interesting one as an option. Bellingham obviously came on for a little cameo as well, and was also involved in Eze's goal. Eze obviously has started to establish himself now. He's got a good goal scoring record for England for the amount of appearances in this qualifying campaign. He's really kicked on at Arsenal. Obviously at Crystal Palace he was a key player, and he sort of thrives being given responsibility, which is good to see. And of course, Pickford still hasn't conceded a goal. It'll be interesting to see if they give another one of the goalkeepers a run out against Albania. That'll be interesting because they need to get game time as well, just in case of Pickford getting injured or suspended at any point. I think it is important that they also get given a chance. Just play 90 minutes and see how they perform. I think that is also important. That could potentially happen on Sunday against Albania. But there we go. England 2, Serbia 0. A much improved Serbia performance. They had their moments in the second half. And England did get a little bit sloppy during that second half. They lost that little bit of intensity. But overall, a decent performance. Not the best Wembley crowd. There were some empty seats. Serbia didn't take up their ticket allocation, although some Serbian fans themselves individually bought tickets for the away section. But there was no official Serbian FA ticket sales, and that's to do with the incidents at the last match against Albania. The Serbian FA have been punished multiple times for fan misbehaviour, which I think ruined the atmosphere a little bit. But overall, considering the conditions, solid performance by England, but not as good as in the last international break. Let's see when they play Albania on Sunday what performance they put in, and what kind of tempo they have, and whether Tuchel will rotate the squad a little bit and give some other players a run out, get some minutes under their belt, and see and assess his options. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I'll have some more content for you all very, very soon.